Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 4 of the CompeteLeague Diamond Plus Premier League. If you stay with us this long, then you are truly a soldier, a trooper. I will ride and die with you forever. I'm also obviously rejoined by Nezzy as we're going to get right into picking bands because that last game took so long. We're just going to try and speed it up as fast as possible. But Nezzy, that last game was an utter clown fiesta dumpster fire that Remembrance finally finished the game standing on top of Heritage High School's dead corpse.
Yes, and potentially the dead corpses are our analyst desk. And as we go through the next bunch of bands, pretty much similar to how Game 2 worked out. Zillion and Zaya so far for the side of Heritage High School, and Katarina also for the side. Canada has been banned on the side of Remembrance. They're most likely going to follow it up with an Orn at some point, and Sejuani will probably be followed up with an Orn.
Exactly. I mean, I'm like you. I don't think I would see any changes because that last game honestly wasn't even pick and ban. It was just a whole bunch of nothing really. As we do get the Ezreal ban, the third ban coming in for Heritage High School. So in this game 4, Nezzy, what do you look to see? Do you think Heritage High School might be a little bit, I won't say broken, but discouraged after, they lost that game 3 after letting Remembrance come back, as well as it's a school night for them. It's almost 12 o'clock where they live. What do you think? How do you think this game 4 is going to play out?
It could go one of two ways. Either they're just saying screw it and we're just going to, if we're going down to a game 5, or they're just going to be demoralized because at this point, as you mentioned, it's really late at night, as well as the fact that they went through a 60-plus minute game, and that's not only physically fatiguing, but mentally fatiguing. And from the looks of it, the draft is looking just about the same. I mean, it was exciting, but I'd rather have a bit of a more concise conclusion that doesn't drag out.
Exactly. As you're right, we do see the Kaylin and the Jin come before the side of Remembrance. That Jin being first pick, I mean, it's obviously a comfort pick for Light, in this series. At the same time, it didn't really have that big of an impact to the later game. And I feel like if Heritage High School can fix their mistakes from early, they can possibly take advantage of this bot lane with the Kaylin and possibly the Karma being locked in. As we also saw Havoc lock in that Zac in the jungle. Zac, not jungle we've seen in a long time because of the nerfs to his jungle clear, but still a lot of engage potential from that champion.
Yeah, Zac can engage from long ranges and odd places, which makes it Heritage High School need to ward a bit differently than they would against any other jungler, because they would need to try and go with paths that are pretty unique to Zac. So, I mean, anyway, going to this bottom lane, Kaylin Karma is an excellent laning, pushing bottom lane, a very commanding bot lane, and they're going to go Jazz on Talia again. He did have some mispositions in the last game, but either way, he is still fairly impressive. He had some good points and he had some bad points, like some good walls, and sometimes he just got caught out of position, which stalled out, which means Heritage couldn't close the game out.
Exactly. Heritage's main man sort of failed him in that last game. Like you said, being caught out in side lanes by 2 or 3 more members. Should have had the intuition to know that they might be sending some his way, and that stalled out the game. Like you said, the Malzahar pick will come through as well. The J4 being banned away from Mariello. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lee Sin ban possibly not coming too far behind, as we wait for TLF Brewery to give Heritage High School their 4th ban.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw, like, Jarvan, Lee Sin, Sejuani, that's what he's mainly been playing. He can also fall back onto the Cossack's, but this team that's currently being made needs a tank. So, there goes the Cossack's, by the way, so, that I was mentioning. So, I guess it isn't enough for them. They could potentially, the Zac's already locked in, so they're most likely not gonna take the Lee Sin because they can't. They already have their jungler, so they leave that open for Mariello to take again. But I'm just wondering, what's their mentality after that long marathon of a game? They couldn't close it out, and I'm wondering about the confidence of all of them, because after playing that game, you couldn't close out after having multiple chances to do so. You couldn't finish the job, and that has to affect your confidence in the champions you're playing. I mean, they're sticking with Kaylor, so sticking with Talia. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Murillo picked up the Lee Sin to go at it again, but at the same time, wouldn't be surprised if he went in a different direction.
I mean, I believe it should be the Lee Sin and Thresh follow through. Thresh, it was left open, and I believe you're right. This is a direct challenge from Remembrance saying, hey, you couldn't beat us on the Lee Sin even when you were oh wait, they already have Karma, so this will be a top lane pick. It could be the Shin coming through, but back to the point being made, Remembrance is saying, hey, your Lee Sin, you tried your best on it, it still couldn't beat us, so we're not afraid of it anymore. You had a very good game, and you still couldn't beat us, so we think we can take a jungler that stacks up even, lesser than the last one we had to your Lee Sin and find a win. Axum will take the Jace in the top lane again, so mainly comfort picks for this game 4. I think Remembrance are really just trying to go for the really kill shot right here with all these comfort picks, Zac, Malzahar, Jace, while Heritage High School just trying to grasp onto something with the comfort picks of their own.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they go by the alleys, if you don't succeed, try again. And they pretty much got mostly the same comp, except they got the Shen instead of the Sion, and the Karma instead of the Braum. So this was a little bit better of a game for Jhin because there are less tanks. Therefore, it's a little better for him to get his shots off. So this is a lot more favorable for Remembrance as far as looking towards the Jhin than the last game was. So this game is going to be very interesting as we head into game 4.
Exactly, and once again, we had to look at Mariello, honestly, Sin, and it's a lot easier for him, I think, this time to have early success against the Zac than the Rek'Sai, where, Zac's early clear is not what it used to be, and so therefore, Mariello could look for an early invade to try and get an early kill onto Havoc and go ahead and get his snowball started earlier than he did last game.
Yeah, he did manage to pull off a lot of good Lee Sin plays. He was in a really good position to come to that early mid-game. He hadn't died at that point. Of course, the game went on for a lot longer. Lee Sin falls off, and it's very hard for him to be more than just a simple kick bot. And if he messes up his kick or he isn't able to get it off, then he's not very useful.
And once again in the bot lane, as we're looking at this 2v2, Heritage High School, with the taking of the exhaust, we've observed it all night. They're acquiescing this lane to the Jhin Blitzcrank. Unless Light and good old Gelatin play this wrong, that is a very dangerous kill lane. Jhin being able to use the Deadly Flourish after the Blitzcrank hook and the knockup from the Power Fist. And Nezzy, I just feel like something in my heart wants to tell me, I'm using the analogy wrong. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired here, but my head wants to say that Remembrance is going to take this, that Heritage High School is demoralized, they're tired, they just want to go to sleep, and Remembrance should be able to take advantage of that, but my heart is telling me that we're going to go to a game 5, man.
Well, your heart better think again, because yeah. Anyway, I mean, I can look at compositions, though I have to go with your head here, because Remembrance, I mean, that bottom lane, even though I do tend to crap on Jhin a lot, that is an extremely strong lane as far as, getting a kill, and of course, Blitz is taking Ignite, so that's going to be very potent if they're able to get a hold of Karma or Caitlyn. The mid lane, it could go either way. I mean, they're most likely going to try to push each other in and try to roam and impact the other lanes. And the top lane, Jace could have an advantage early, but Shen will just get tankier, and eventually outscale the Jace. So, I mean, I know you haven't asked me who I think will win. I'm just going to say Remembrance. Just more off of morale than really composition.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't really need to ask, because you hinted at it, friend, that you think Remembrance was going to win, that you want Remembrance to win. And I feel like I will have to agree with you. As I said, my head tells me they're going to win because they once again go with a potential 1-3-1 composition. And if they get ahead early in this game and are able to spread Heritage High School out across the map with a lead, Heritage High School once again has picked this, team fighting composition that doesn't do too well when they're being split push on and spread out across the map.
Yeah, but at the same time, they do have the ability to do 1-3-1, so they can have Talia in the side lane, Shannon in the side lane, and then have a 3-stack. But they do have the ability to do that, but yeah, they can execute a 1-3-1, assuming they get their lanes ahead, but Shen's kind of hard to get ahead, and he's just going to have to wait until he has his Titanic and Sunfire to really be able to sort of 1v1 to Jace and be able to sort of that's a split push. And the thing is, the 3-stack of Lee Sin, Karma, and Caitlyn, if you put that as against a 3-stack of Zac, Jin, and Blitzcrank, or even Malzahar if it's a 4v3, that leaves their 3-stack to a lot of vulnerability of being picked off by the Blitzcrank.
Exactly. But now we're in the loading screen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do what we always do, what is CompeteLeague caster tradition. I'll read the blue side. Nezzy, you take red. We have for the side of Heritage High School fighting for their lives right now. TLF Ruby in the top lane on the Shin. Mariello on this Lee Sin again. Jazz taking the Talia for another spin. DJ Holiday giving this Caitlyn another whirl. And Decano on this Karma.
And on the red side, we have Remembrance looking to secure their first title since Season 1 of CompeteLeague. In the top lane, we have Axum on the Jace. In the jungle, we have Havoc on the Zac. In the middle lane, we have Jesus Chris looking to put a nail in the coffin of Heritage's hopes in the mid lane on the Belzahar. In the AD carry position, we have Light on the Jin. And in support, we have good old Gelatin on the good old Blitzcrank.
And right now, good old Gelatin and crew are looking for an early kill. They have roamed into the red side of Heritage High School's jungle. DJ Holiday has no idea what's happening. He's actually finally spotted them out. He runs away just in time. And now the rest of Heritage High School know Remembrance will get deep wards inside of Mariello's red jungle. But Mariello should be able to respond and get deep wards of his own so he can track Havoc.
Yeah, I mean, that's good awareness by Mariello as he's able to go into the enemy jungle and make sure that not only he may have his red warded, but he also has the enemy's warded. So he could potentially take the blue and then go straight to red and go against a Zac who's not a very good early duelist, which means he'll be able to bully out the Zac out of his own jungle if he's given the opportunity.
Exactly. Let's see if he has this opportunity, as Havoc does get a pretty healthy leash here on this blue buff. He will go from there toward the top side, possibly look for a gank for onto Ruby, while Mariello starting his own blue. Neither of them looking for any early invades. Mariello, even though he knows that Havoc will be headed toward his red eventually, doesn't go for it. He just goes for wolves. Both sides just trying to play it evenly, both trying not to give away any advantages. We know Heritage High School is definitely going to play conservative because they don't want to, you know, throw away this game early, but Decano is already hooked in by good old Gelatin. Light does get a lot of damage onto him himself, but the trade still goes in favor, in my mind, to Remembrance.
Yeah, and that's the danger of going against this Crank lane. He can pull you in, and then you're just caught up in a real bad spot. Which, I mean, he was able to escape this time. No summoners were blown, but as this lane goes on, it could be even more deadly as Jin gains a few more levels and items.
And in the top lane, Axum did hit level 2 first, and he did chunk Ruby to half his health. Good old Gelatin can't find another hook in the bottom lane, but right now things even in the mid lane, however. Havoc is looking for a possible gank onto this Talia. He will elastic slingshot his way in. He cannot find Jast for the Q, but he does get the flash from the Talia. Now Kano is trying to find something on the back end, trying to apply pressure now that he knows where Zac is, but he won't be able to do so. Lanes still come out even, you know, or ahead for Remembrance, and they do get the flash from Jast.
Yep, they do manage to get the flash from Jazz, so that's a definite return gank target for Havoc, especially with how Zac can be very potent early with this elastic slingshot and making unique ways for ganks. And that'll be it means Jazz has to be even more careful with how he wards and how he positions, because again, a bad misposition, even in a place where normally he would not get ganked, but this is Zac. He can gank in places you wouldn't expect, and if he's in a bad spot, he'll just get jumped on and killed.
Exactly, and that makes Mariello's job, who's usually been the one to be, you know, the roaming ward, placing them down and finding the enemy jungler. It makes his life that much harder, because now he has to put his wards in, you know, unorthodox spots where he knows Zac might be able to gank from, as another Blitzcrank hook lands. And now DJ Holiday and Decano have this bottom lane from Remembrance pushed in. And this Jin is kind of living in misery right now, down 10 CS to this Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, even though this lane can
Oh
be very
wait,
deadly,
we have a
to get
gank in the
catch,
top
but
lane.
here we go.
Ruby
Here's
does
Ruby.
use his flash early, but the Q will land from Havoc. They do get first blood onto Ruby in the top lane. Once again, the weak link being picked on in game 4, and it will just continue. Mariello trying to find something else on the back end of it on Jesus Christ, but he will just be able to walk away. The Malzahar spell shield passive, saving him from any potential death.
Yeah, they could just go with the same strategy they did in game 2. Just pick on the weak guy. Just beat the crap out of him until they got Axum so far ahead that he can't be 1v1 by anyone on the enemy team. So that's more accomplishable with Camille than necessarily Jace, because Jace tends to go lethality and fall off a bit. But in the meantime, if Jace does get ahead, he can be very deadly, especially with a lethality build.
Indeed, as Zach didn't even have to recall after that gank. He's already in the jungle of Mariello, so the roles are switched. It's this Zach who's the one playing extremely aggressive, taking camps. Mariello is actually really low. Zach goes in. He will find the elastic slingshot. The Q also lands. The flash comes in for Mariello. Will Havoc try and chase? He does get the flash auto attack, and he will walk away with the kill. Mariello goes down. A kill for Havoc. He's 2-0-0 and already showing out on the Zach, but can he get away? Jast is already on the roam. They should be able to find him. The seismic shove does get him. The passive is popped from the Zach, but it should be enough to get the kill anyways. He won't have time to spawn, and Brooby will claim the kill.
Yeah, I mean, Havoc was able to catch Mariello napping and able to take him out, but he was a bit too deep for his britches and ended up giving up a kill to Shen, which pretty much gets him, he has a kill, so he is back in the game, so it's not as bad as it looked at first when he gave up first blood. So, but the thing is, Havoc still has 2 kills. He can definitely take that advantage to mid, he can take that to bot. As a jungler, if you get that much gold, you have to spread it across the map and use your advantage to give your advantage to your carries.
Exactly. Bot has to be extremely careful right now, because DJ Holiday and Decano are pushed in so far. Zach clearing his wolves. He could look for a gank coming down to the bomb lane if he so choose. In the top lane right now, Ruby's still taking trades, but he's doing a little bit better now. Just a little bit, but not too much, as he does get the worst brunt of that from Axum. And Axum is going to continue this push, and Malzahar is just sitting fine as wine. He's down 10 CS in the mid lane, but that's perfectly fine for him. As long as he doesn't die, he's going to go ahead and recall and go ahead and get his first items, as Jas on this Talia comes back to lane with her lost chapter.
Yeah, both of them getting their respective lost chapters. Morel Namakan is pretty much a standard item for most mid laners to build into, because it gives everything the mid laner would want. AP, cooldown reduction, grievous wounds as well for any of those who like to do excessive healing.
But we see a gank in the top lane. Light is actually kicked away from the fight, however, and now Havoc finds the bounce on the Mariello. Mariello will go down, and now the suppression comes through onto the Karma. That will be, oh no, onto DJ Holiday. I'm sorry, and that will be an 80 carry and jungle down, and no one dies from the side of Remembrance, and the fatigue is taking its toll as Mariello kicked Light away from being killed, and now that gives Remembrance the chance to take this Inferno Drake.
Yep, and I mean, Mariello nearly had to kill, but Light actually managed to flash away. It wasn't a kick, it was a flash away before he went down. So he's able to stay alive and to pick up a kill onto DJ Holiday instead.
And Ruby taking so much damage in the top lane. He could go down. One more EQ from Axum could do the job, but he does have backup from Jas. Jas has come to try and save his top laner. The threat of Valor does hit Axum for the full damage, and now he tries to go in onto Jas, but the seismic shove does the dash damage, and Jas will find the kill in the top lane. So a trade goes in for the top side of the map. So in the extended action, it's a 1-for-1, but Inferno Drake still goes over to the side of Remembrance. That's a big pickup for them.
Yeah, they were able to get that Inferno Drake. You finally get to 10 Inferno Drakes after all this time off the mountains and ocean drakes we had this game. We finally get the 10 Infernal Drakes throughout the D+ playoffs, at least from what you've seen.
Beautiful. It's just so beautiful. My dream is realized. Now I can literally just disappear into oblivion. My soul has been released. No, I can't, because I have to finish this game in this series, as we see Light taking damage in the bomb lane, but you know, it's the same old story, being pushed in by the Karma and the Caitlyn. But good old Jelton wants to find something. He does find the hook onto the Kano, and so much damage being popped. Shin does have to pop the Stand United to try and save his support, and can he find a taunt onto good old Jelton? He won't go for it. It would have put him under turret. But now the Kano, oh, he gets hit by Light on the curtain call. Oh, baby, Light finds the kill, and now it'll be 1 down for the Jin. What a kill, and now Mariello trying to find Axum. He does get damage down. He won't fall through with the Dragon Rage, however, he's just trying to push him back from turret, but now Havoc is there on the back end. He wants to find a kill. He does find the Q onto Mariello. Will he follow through? He will not. They will just go for turret. This should be first brick for the side of Remembrance.
Yeah, they had to demolish flash as they popped on it, but unfortunately they did not have the minion wave to finish off that turret, so it won't be just yet. It'll have to wait for first turret for maybe another minute or two.
You're right. I've been bamboozled. If they won't get first turret off of that, Mariello was able to return. However, I mean, there's so much pressure being applied by Remembrance in so many different lanes right now. I mean, the snowball is in full effect for them in the bot lane, in their side lanes, mid lane. Jesus Chris is farming out perfectly fine. He doesn't even have any real problems. He's just, easy as you like. And they're scaling to that dangerous point they want to get to in this mid to late game where they get that 1-3-1.
Yeah, I mean, they'll just have Jace. I mean, they can also do a 1-4 with the Malzahar joining the 3-stack. And in the middle lane, having Jace off to the side. I mean, Malzahar is really a duelist, but we're going to have a duel in the top lane.
Havoc tried to find the elastic slingshot and the stretching strikes, but neither landed. He did get the flash out of Ruby, however. Ruby will stick around to try and clear this wave. Will Havoc try and return for a gank? No, he will not. He will just go back into his own jungle while Malzahar is trying to track this to lead. They want to find something on the bot side of the map. Good old Gelatin does find Takano, and the burst damage, oh my god! Light finds the kill again. He is 2-0-2, but Jazz is here to follow through. Kalen does hit the ace in the hole. Good old Gelatin will get killed, and now Light will Mariello fall through with a sonic wave. He does not. It's too far undeterred. He didn't want to risk it for that biscuit. He'll just back off, but it's a 1-for-1 trade for the sides. Both sides evenly trading it out here at the 11-minute mark.
Yep, and yeah, even after they managed to get the kill, but good old Jolton did give up his life for it. So it's still no turrets have been taken, 3-6 in kills in favor of Remembrance. Right now, they need to try and hit their spikes. I mean, Jace has the Serrated Dirk, opting not to go for the Tear of the Goddess build this game, just going straight lethality. And I mean, that's a way. I mean, the Tear build allows you some late game ability to soften up your late game's fall off, but getting more lethality, especially their head, is probably the wisest decision because he can sort of press that advantage and sort of finish this game before it gets too long.
Exactly, and now this top lane turret is about to be taken out. It's one hit away from being destroyed by this Jace. Mariello going up to try and provide support for his top laner, while Jace and good old Jin and Blitzcrank will just, lay down vision in the red side jungle of Mariello and continue to lane. They want to stick in this 2v2 because they're getting so many kills and advantages out of it.
Yeah, I mean, these 1v1, 2v2 skirmishes, that's exactly what they want right now. As they're hitting a good amount of power compared to their opponents, they're able to duel them in these skirmishes. I mean, Jin, Blitzcrank, if they're able to land a hook onto the Kano or DJ Holiday, can put a lot of pressure. The only one who's having real difficulty on Remembrance is DJ's Chris against Jazz, who's really poking him down with those rocks. But he'll just sort of hang on right now. He's only a few CS behind, but otherwise he's doing just fine.
Hey man, rocks hurt, but now it looks like the Axum will be taken out in the top lane. He gets 2v1, but that will give Havoc and the rest of his team room in the bottom lane to not only find a gank, but maybe this Infernal Drake as Gold Justin goes in to clear the vision. But Infernal, a second Infernal, so that'll make 11 Infernals, my friend, is about to spawn in 10 seconds. They're setting that up. They want to take that, get double Inferno for this Jin, for this Jace and Malzahar, and get these carries faster online.
Yeah, they need to try
DJ Holiday, what a flash. It won't even matter because they follow him under turret, find the hook, and find a kill onto the Caitlyn, and now they can possibly find turret. It looks like it'll be a turret race, ladies and gentlemen, as Ruby and Marielle are trying to take it first with Rift Herald, but it won't matter even with Shelly on their side. Will they take it first? No, they won't. Good old Gelatin finds the first brick, and now they can also find Infernal Drake, and Axum can take care of Shelly on the top side.
Yeah, I was very close. Within a second of time from one turret falling down to the other. Remember, it's managed to get first tower. They do sacrifice Shelly to Axum. And Infernal Drake will also go down in favor of Remembrance. So that's first turret and a dragon to Remembrance in exchange for a single turret. So I take that any day of the week. And even in the middle of the night.
Exactly. Good old Gelatin. He did pop the overcharge. He was possibly overdrive, was possibly looking for a hook onto the Karma, but he didn't find it. Instead, Havoc will just steal away Mariello's red and continue about his day, reset, while the rest of Heritage High School might want to look for a play here. Talia is there. She does have Weaver's Wall. Stretching strikes will hit her, but she will just take it to the face. The seismic shove, not finding Havoc on the back end. He'll just be able to run away and reset, and they get the turret in the top side of the map. Remembrance once again pushing this tempo, out rotating Heritage High School.
Yeah, it's sort of like wearing down a boxer in a late game, in the late rounds. Like Heritage, they've gone through so many long games. They have so little time to try and finish out these series before they have to go to bed, and they're just worn down. And the thing is, they just need to. If I'm Heritage High School, I want to finish the game quick and try to get to a game 5 and finish that one quick to make up for all these long games. If this game keeps dragging out, I'm not sure Heritage will have the will to go on.
Exactly, their slow and steady philosophy that they usually have is starting to backfire on them, as it's a 5-game series, not 3 games. They would have won this series by now if it was a 3-game series, but now that that's not the case, or no, they wouldn't. They actually would have lost the series. My bad, everyone. But either way, the fact is their usual philosophy of slow and steady is backfiring. They're getting tired. And even then you saw earlier, Mariello, where usually he might have landed a good quality combo and gotten light into the fight for position for death, he couldn't find it. And now Remembrance will just continue pushing mid lane as if nothing ever happened.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to go through another lull in this, as right now there aren't any monsters to take care of right now. The turret lead is 2-1 in favor of.
Oh, Mariello, what are you doing, friend? He goes in, but Lily at the backup. Shin is trying to come through. It won't even matter. Killing spree. They tried to make a play happen, but it was not meant to be. Now they're trying to find DJ Holiday. One bullet hit. Can the last bullet hit? Will miss, but they do find the elastic slingshot, and the let's bounce onto DJ Holiday. He will go down, and that will be mid lane turret. It's 9-4 with about a 4.5k gold lead in favor of Remembrance, and they even have Axum on the bottom lane turret. They're looking to push two things at once and try and expand their lead in this game. As Havoc goes in, he finds the slingshot and the stretching strikes on the Jazz. It won't be enough to kill, but it'll be enough to neutralize and make them back away from this tier 2 turret, and they'll get that as well as this gold lead just continues to expand, and they'll continue their push in the mid lane.
And that is a physical and mental exhaustion that's coming through. Barrow make a huge misplay and going right into the welcoming arms of Remembrance, going down, and Holiday tried to run away, but unfortunately got picked up by the Let's Bounce, and they're just going to lose an inhibitor off of this entire play.
And they actually surrender. We got surrender in the finals, ladies and gentlemen. They tapped out. They said, we can't do it anymore. We're too tired. You guys have a lead. We're out of here. So, you know what? I want to have a big final yell if Remembrance won. Like, they finally done it. They won after. But you know what? I didn't get that. But the point is, congratulations, Remembrance. You are our season 8? Compete League Diamond Plus champions. Man, what a series.
Yeah, it was. Congratulations to Remembrance after a very lengthy series with a somewhat anticlimactic ringing the bell, you tapped out kind of end. And, I mean, I don't blame Heritage High School. Like, this has been a long night for them, and they just couldn't do it anymore. Like, their will just run out. But they gave it a good effort for all they did. They went through all of these long games. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for them to pull out the series win.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, they're tired. They are still in school. And, you know, we joke around a lot, but school comes before all. So, I mean, it takes a big man just to, put priorities above themselves. So they tap out. But if you're Remembrance, you gotta be ecstatic. You finally won Diamond Plus for the first time since season 1. We're at season 8.
Well,
That's 7 seasons.
again, I'm not sure Completely was around like season one of League Legends, more like the first split of Compete League. So,
Oh, let me have my moment. You know what? Whatever. The fact is they won. Nezzy, since our analyst desk is not here, who do you give MVP to for this series?
well, I'd like to give it to the audience who's still here after this series for managing to stay around for this entire lengthy BS we have here. But as for in all seriousness, for MVP, I'd have to give it to for series MVP. I'd have to give it to Havoc because the steals he had in game 3 that kept his team in the game. That Elder Drake seal was huge, and that allowed his team to continue going on in that lengthy battle to go on there. But I'd like to give honorable mention to Axum, who had that amazing Camille game in game 2. But Camille game in game 2, really taking control of that lane and really making Burby regret his decision to play Gnar. And in game 4, in that last anticlimactic game, he did have a lot of pressure and made it so that way Heritage High School did not get an early lead and they couldn't have any hope of closing this out early and made them give up.
I couldn't agree more, friend. And that will do it for us tonight. I just want to say thank you to the viewers that stuck around. Thank you for allowing us to have such a great season with such great people. Thank you to all the players that played, all the teams that participated. Thank you to all the other casters, the streamers, organizers, admins. Thank you all for being here this season. You know what? If you like what we do, I'm going to do, yes, one more plug. If you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe on Twitch. Follow, subscribe to our Patreon as well. Go buy some merchandise on our website. We do have a store now. But once again, this has been Cole Perch Gibson with John Nezzy Nesbitt. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next season.